Thank you, Jeff, for your intro. I appreciate your kind words. I hope I can live up to that today and be able to give you the information that you're looking for. Again, my name is Sam Sadler. I am a professional in wind, hydroelectric, photovoltaic, various types of renewable energies. And we're here to talk today about renewable energy in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you know that we have this petition that's going around town. If you can not only sign it, but also you can take a copy, have your friends sign it. We're also putting together some corporate sponsors for this as well. And we also have a local TV channel that's doing a spot on it as well. Basically what the petition substance is, we're asking for more renewable energy in our area. We're basically feeling out what the DFW area population feels about renewable energy. We want to know if they're looking for more wind power or if they just like the fossil fuels that they have. And so we're going to go ahead and explore a little bit more into that today, talk about why we feel that we would want a petition for this and what kind of benefits it could give us locally if we had additional renewable energy. And so if you'll just follow along with me, and at the very end, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just jot them down in the little question papers that are going around. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and talk about wind energy. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about mostly today. Photovoltaics are up and coming in the DFW area. Wind energy hasn't been a great viable source for us because of our wind speeds here. The typical guy you're looking at, you've seen him, not around here, but out in West Texas. This is what we've been seeing, right? Okay, the wind comes, and this spins. And as it spins, it creates power. All right? These will turn anywhere from 11 miles per hour up to about 17 or 20 miles per hour, depending on the model. And you guys know as well as I do, out in West Texas, we don't have any problem getting 11 mile per hour winds. Okay, here in the DFW area, it's not quite as prevalent, but there is some technology that my company has run into that can generate electricity instead of 11 miles per hour as little as 1 mile per hour. Now that we have. As you guys know, the wind almost never stops blowing in the DFW area. It's just, you know, in a little bit smaller increments than it does out in West Texas. All right, so we have to look at this as something that, hey, that's an opportunity. This technology has brought this closer to the DFW area. Secondly, there is what's called a smart grid, and smart grid, it's a terminology used for different technologies. It's not just one technology, it's a number of technologies. But the smart grid, let's suffice it to call it that today. The smart grid is also enabling us to put more and more wind power and photovoltaics, which is the solar power, into our society here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, one of your first questions is, where do we put something like this? As you guys see them dotting the globe, you get on the internet or on the Discovery Channel and you see, oh, here's a wind farm and it's 300 wind turbines all together. Where do you put something like that in the DFW area? And to be truthful, we don't need 300 wind turbines all in one area in the DFW area. They can be put out on the outskirts to where, you know, if you drive up I-35 to some of the hillier country, or down south, down 45 towards Houston to some of the more hillier country and the windier country, you know, we're going to run into some spots that would be a very viable option to go ahead and put a wind farm in. As we drive into Dallas, I don't know how many of you drive into Dallas each day. I drive into Dallas, you know, a couple times a week, but I see this haze, this cloud that levitates over Dallas. You guys got our little globe going down there? But this cloud it's not 100% pollution, but it's a good percent pollution. Okay? Now this cloud, I don't know that it's very attractive. Okay, secondly, we have what's called a heat island effect. And because of our CO2 emissions, and all of our motors running, the whole 9 yards, all the machinery, we get a heat island effect. Okay, that's also something that's affecting us. As you guys see on the news, a lot of times, they'll show, okay, in Gainesville, it's 82 degrees. In Dallas, it's 85 degrees. That's a big part of why, is because there's so much concrete, so much mechanical use, so many CO2 emissions. We're having global warming right here. It's not global, but it's local. Okay, and GE, General Electric, has just released numbers that the power grid, just to back up a little bit, the power grid actually is responsible for 40% of our CO2 emissions. Okay? And if we were to, in our country, be 5% more efficient, just 5% more efficient on our grid, it's the same as taking 52 million cars off the road. It has that kind of an effect on the CO2 emissions that we're putting out into the Earth's atmosphere. And so with the job market down, if we were to put in something like this, it would create jobs for wind scouts. And yes, we do have them locally here in Texas. We would have engineers that are needed, project managers, construction managers, we even need realtors. Everybody benefits from this. If we can maximize this, then it can actually get to where wind power is cheaper than our fossil fuels that many of us are paying for right now. So, would you like to have cheaper energy? Absolutely, especially knowing that you're impacting your local economy well. Also knowing that you have a good impact on the planet. Absolutely. Another thing that I'd like to address is our fossil fuel dependency. Okay, not only on our own turf, but also foreign. As we look at bringing over in these ships, big barges of fossil fuels, we bring it over here and we burn it and put it all into our atmosphere. That is not good for our economy, for our planet. All the money is going back this way. That's not good for us, okay? We want the money to stay here, stay home. Put the brakes on the boat, keep it here. All right, so let's go ahead and keep the money here in Texas, because the wind's blowing, so the money stays here in Texas. Guess what? We're not putting out those emissions, and we're keeping that money here. Does that make sense? Okay, so our dependence on foreign oil goes where? It goes down. All right, another thing that I did want to talk about real quick, the power lines. As power goes through these power lines, you lose electricity, it's displaced. Here and there, there's waste. The closer that our power source is to the consumer, which is us, okay, we have a little chimney, but the closer that is to us, the less waste there is, and the less expensive the power. So like solar, for instance, photovoltaics, the sun comes down and heats up those photocells about the same time as your air conditioner is really, really working. So that's why photovoltaics are so important in the DFW area. All right? So that's one of our goals, is to take all this technology and make it so that we have a viable system and a combination of all of it, working with our local power companies and with our local manufacturers, and putting together a system that works for everybody with our renewable energy. The less waste there is, and the less expensive the power.